Jai Hind Desh. Today we are starting a new Vartalap series and we have named it as Vartalap with Veterans. And in this beautiful program, we have with us Colonel Akhil Shah Sir as our first guest of this series. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be here in such a short notice.
Jai Hind, Adija, and Jai Hind, the wonderful members of Desh. I am really honored to be here with you.
Sir has always been a big support to Desh and has always been our guide. You in this journey today you will realize that he is such a humble and kind soul and has such immense experiences in his service life from where today he will share some of his memories, some of his experience today, and you will be, I'm sure, enriched to listen to sir today. Sir, so today I would request you to first uh, give a little bit of your uh, what to say, your background, and then we will listen to your various rich experiences.
Oh, sure. Well, I am from a non-Fauji background, but since in my class we had a lot of what we now call as Fauji brats, so we are generally aware of the Fauj and of the defense services. And as early as 1965, I was that time a toddler in class two. So my classmates, uh, I had a classmate Carl Keeler. So his father and uncle, there was Denzel Keeler and Trevor Keeler. In fact, they are known as the Saber Hunters. So both were decorated, and it was a big thing in our school that time. Then I had Norman Haid in my class. His father, Lieutenant Colonel, later Brigadier Desmond Haid, Mahavir Chakra of the Jat Regiment. So he was there. He was a Mahavir Chakra of 1965 war. So they were in a class, and there were many other children of the Faujis. So we're generally aware of it. Of course, my dad was a lawyer, my granddad was a lawyer. So I was not from a, you can say, typical Fauji background. But subsequently, also 1971, I remember now it is the golden jubilee of that war. So I was in class 8 that time. And I remember all the blackouts going on, and the complete nation was in a sort of a hysteria or steeped in patriotism that time. And we could just sense the euphoria when Bangladesh was liberated. So I mean, it was even like a child in class 8, we could sense it. So that was the initial background, and of course, later after school and then college, then I joined the Indian Military Academy. I was selected for the Combined Defense Services exam and joined the Indian Military Academy. One thing I learned there was irrespective of your background, because we had gentlemen cadets with the coming from NDA, coming from ACC, who were steeped in the military culture. And but after a short time, we could literally train shoulder to shoulder with them. So then I learned that nothing is impossible, and you don't have to be just a athlete or a sportsman right from your cradle to be a soldier. So I mean, it's just in the mind, and that I think stood me throughout my 3 decades plus of service. So this is my initial background.
Sir, when you were talking about your school, I remember you had written sometime about one of your teacher, I think, who was in service, and after war he again came back and joined the school. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir. That was Captain L.M. Shah. He's was in fact in college. He was my English professor in college, and he in fact was an emergency commission officer. So after 1962, I mean, the old timers will remember, a lot of people, after the, you can say the so-called Chinese debacle, a lot of people, they volunteered, students, they volunteered and joined the emergency commission, joined the defense forces. So Captain L.M. Shah was one of them. And after that, he was released in 1967, and again in 1771, he again volunteered and joined his old battalion. That was 3 years back. And that time, I just one incident. Of course, I just like to narrate. Uh, like many people, they get confused between Assam Rifles and Assam Regiment. Like Assam Rifles is a paramilitary force. Assam Regiment is a regular infantry regiment. So once in the class, I remember, so one of the boys, they asked Captain L.M. Shah, so which part of the army were you in? So he said, Assam Regiment. So like, I mean, youngsters are there trying to impress their professors. So I said, oh, sir, Assam Rifles. I didn't know why he blew his top. Later, of course, when I got commissioned into the same regiment, I realized. So that was the thing. For us, Assam Rifles, Assam Regiment, they were all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was one
I also
experience.
made
I
the
mean,
same mistake. I also made the same mistake, and you had corrected me once. And since then, I always remember the difference.
that's very, very common. Yeah.
And sir, to start with, will you please share some of your memories of your academy days?
Oh, well, yes. I joined the academy. I mean, it was winters. We joined the January course. It was bitterly cold. Dehradun was, I mean, that time, of course, it was not the capital of Uttarakhand and not the concrete jungle that it has now become. So I joined there. And that time, and straight out of college. And that time, our college days, a long hair, a bell bottom pants. I mean, that was our college days. So from there, getting the crew cut, and of course, and into the rigmarole of the, or we call ragra of the forge. So the initial time, but after a couple of months, again we are all in the same boat, and that was a wonderful experience I had, and we had a good lot of DSs that time. I mean, the cream of the Indian Army were selected and sent to train the cadets. I mean, of course, they are doing it now also. So it was wonderful getting trained with them. In fact, one I remember is he comes very often on the TV, Major General G.D. Bakshi. Bakshi. So he was one of our instructors, and
Oh,
the Josh he had, he was one of our instructors, and the Josh he had, he shows now. In fact, it was that time also the same. I mean, he could literally fire you up with patriotism. So, and he took, I mean, a lot of lectures on motivation also for us, and I just remember him. And General All, who was a brigadier during the Kargil ops. So he was, in fact, our company DS. He was the directing staff in our company. That time, Captain A.N. All. Later, he became a brigadier, and then he was the brigade commander of 56th Brigade during the Kargil War. So he was one of our instructors. So we fondly remember our instructors that time. And like these 1.5 years in the academy, they were like a breeze for us because don't know when is morning, when is night. By the time we realized we're just donning our pips, that time we used to get only one pip, we used to second lieutenant. That rank is now outdated now, but they used to be commissioned as second lieutenants. So before we realized it was the 7th of June, 1980, and we are passing out. So that was in brief my training days.
sir, you had talked in CDS during your time, and at that time there were no such coaching centers like nowadays. So, how you had prepared yourself for CDS entrance exam, sir? If you give some tips to the younger generations.
Uh, well, of course, I don't know now what is the curriculum that time, but for CDS, like it has, as you know, three branches. I mean, the IMA direct entry, the short service, and the Navy. Now, so in that, since I was a non-science graduate, so I could compete only for short service and IMA. Uh, Basically, I was preparing actually for the civil services exam that time. So I could score well in the written papers. In the written papers, I could score well, and IMA had that maths and general knowledge. So keeping abreast of this, we are not fortunate like the children nowadays. Uh, like Google University is there available to them at their fingertips. We had nothing like that. So I mean, the only place was the library and of course the daily newspaper. We used to keep ourselves abreast of the latest news and the editorials. So that was basically preparing for the written. And there's no shortcut to prepare the hard work. I mean, like, you have to write it down. Of course, now maybe many things are online, so I can't say. So even if it's online, then you have to practice against time for everything. That's the only way. Otherwise, that is true for any exam. Like otherwise, you get overawed with the general atmosphere in case you don't go through the mock tests. So basically, it's practice, practice, and practice. That's what I feel.
And sir, then you got commissioned into 4 Assam regiments, sir.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, 4th Battalion of the Assam Regiment. I got commissioned to that. I had opted for infantry, all choices by infantry. So basically, I got commissioned into 4th Assam Regiment. And that time, I was, of course, people have different views of different regiments that time. Like we got overawed by our DSs, overawed by the uh, instructors, the Hawaldar instructors, the JCO instructors, and then make our choices. And sometimes, of course, there are a lot of hearsay also. Actually, this is good, that is very good. So like that. So I got commissioned into 4 Assam Regiment, and basically we have troops from the 7 sister states of the Northeast. So, and after the first 2 weeks, we are sent to the center. Our center is in Shillong, Happy Valley, Shillong. So there we had our initial orientation, and then joined my battalion in Faizabad, that is near Ayodhya. Stayed there just for 6 odd months because the platoon was due for turnover, and we moved to Poonch, the line of control. So that was
So,
just
sir,
after about
please
6, 7
tell us
months of
something.
service.
Tell us a little bit more about your regiment, sir.
Okay, see, our regiment basically, um, well, the what distinguishes us is our silver pips, you can say. I mean, it is others are either brass or black. So Assam Regiment is the only one which has the silver pips. We have boys from Northeast. We have got a mix of Christians and Hindus, and all the 7 sister states of Northeast plus Sikkim. So we've got troops from all these places, and our boys are very simple, very hardworking, and of course that generally true for the Indian Jawan. But for the Northeast guys, since they have in that time, of course now they have merged. Now we see so many of them in the metros and other places, people from the Northeast. But that time it was slightly cut off from it because it was to be a 3 hour, 3 day journey to reach Guwahati only from Lucknow or Delhi. Because we had the meter gauge train that time, and the broad gauge had not come beyond NGP that time. So our troops, and they are from, we have Nagas, Mizos, Manipuris, Assamese, Tripuris, Arunachal Pradesh people, and from people, Khasis, Garos from Meghalaya. So we've got you can say, a rainbow of people from Northeast. So their, in fact, culture is also slightly different. In fact, they love music, they love dance, they love to enjoy themselves, and they are very good soldiers in the in ops, you can say, or especially in the jungles and mountains. I mean, it's a second nature to them that I will touch on later.
So soon you got adapted to this new culture uh, that is there in your regiment, sir.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And sir, so you got posted in Poonch, sir, which is near LOC, sir. Please share some of your memories and experiences from that period.
Okay, that I was there in the very early 80s, like 1981 till 1984. That time there was no militancy. Of course, there was a lot of tension and there was a lot of firing on the LOC from across the LOC. But like what we have now, the insurgency or the militancy was not there that time. So in the rear areas, it used to be generally quite peaceful and nice. But of course, the border was, I mean, the LOC was quite hot that time also, as it is now. So we used to have the regular exchange of fires, firing with them, and domination of the LOC, prevention of encroachment there. And then we used to go for the patrolling in the Pir Panjal ranges and many areas which now we hear about in the Pir Panjal ranges and like Sauji.
Yes.
Uh, Last time I think in Desh only I read somebody had posted about it. Sauji, Lorraine, Mandi, all these places used to go and Sultan Patri, Chanama, Gali, so Suran Court. So we used to just put it out there uh, in this petrol, in the depth area patrol we used to call it. But of course now it's totally. They say, in fact, I've not been there before, but they say that it's. I mean, militancy. The things are not the same. Then there after the late 80s or early 90s. So this was my experience there. Uh, of course, firing was there, so we used to and as second lieutenant, so I was put right on the border, like on the LOC, just 50 meters from the LOC. We had a post there. So RCO, he had the term that the youngsters should lead from the front. So we are there and we used to eyeball to eyeball contact. We used to call it that time. So, and I mean, you could just shout across or talk across to the parkers. There used to be, of course, barbed wire fence and a minefield in between. So, of course, this was generally my experience that time.
So you had been, since it was just 50 meters from the border, you had interactions with the enemies, sir.
Yeah, I mean, not interaction in the sense that you could just shout at Sati kaisa hai, kya hai, all that is to shout back
That's
at
all.
us. That's all. Nothing much. I mean, of course, you can't trust anybody like that.
No,
So
no,
you
no,
just
no.
call
Of course.
across. Uh-huh.
And then, sir, you got posted to Barrackpore.
Yes, that's it. After that, when we went to, it got located, we went to Barrackpore, that's near Kolkata. So, and Barrackpore also, we were there and we had gone for a Blue Star from there and then reverted back. And of course, that was also slightly tragic period because what we call the sword arm of India. So the militancy was affecting that place, Punjab. If you, the old timers remember, 1980s till early 90s, Punjab was inflicted by militancy. So that time, of course, it was there. And after that, we came back to Barrackpore. Then again, we are deployed for IS duties. That time I saw Kolkata. That time Calcutta, because we are there for Kosipur, Manikdala, Park Street, all these places we used to patrol there, Bara Bazaar, because their riots had broken out on 31st of October 1984
Yes,
after the assassination of Mrs. Gandhi,
Indira
if
Gandhi.
you remember. So that time there were a lot of riots there. The elders would have mentioned about it, or you must have also seen that time. So we used to be there. So that time I had seen Kolkata, and yeah, that was
Sir,
my experience.
yes, yes. Please tell us your involvement in the Operation Blue Star and some of your memories there.
See, Operation Blue Star, as such, is we are not gone per se into the Golden Triangle as such. We are in the other areas. So what happened was that time entire Punjab was under curfew, and I mean, it's just quite sad to see the martial race. I mean, uh, being cut off from the mainstream just because of some reason which I don't want to delve into, but cut off
Yeah.
on the mainstream. And then a lot of rumor mongering is there. Units were faced with the people from hailing from that area were facing problems. But luckily, our country is strong, our country is united. So we are able to get over this in a few months' time. I guess so, and everyone was then in the same mainstream. So it was, I mean, though we had not gone per se into the military, but of course, the other operations we had to carry out against the militants that time. That was there.
And so then you went to Sri Lanka for Operation Pavan, sir?
Yeah, yeah, that was after some years. After that, I had got posted for a staff operations appointment in Punjab only. I was one of the headquarters in Punjab. So I was serving there. So my unit from Barrackpore had gone to Manipur and then was inducted into Op1 at that time. So came to know of that. So like infantry battalion, or it is like being in a family type. So when I came to know about it, so I wrote to the colonel of regiment. General Pillai was a colonel of regiment at that time. So I wrote a DO to him that I want to be posted back to my battalion in Sri Lanka because I didn't want them to come and then joining them when they have come back. When they had come back from a return from the island. So I did not want to cut a sorry figure. So I volunteered and went to Sri Lanka.
Please share your experiences and memories from that phase of your life, sir, Operation Pavan.
Okay. See, I had joined, by the time I joined my unit in Operation Pavan, so that time they had spent some time and they were, I mean, well adept into the area there. But of course, we are part of the OFC reserve, that is the Overall Force Commanders Reserve. So from north of the island to the south of the island, we had to move everywhere like a reserve, carrying out operations in different places in the thick jungles. Uh, and unlike today, we had very primitive weapons. Like we had SLRs and carbines, self-loading rifles is there, and 9mm carbines. While our adversaries are well equipped with AKs and all, we have not seen a AK-47 till we reached Sri Lanka. But a job has to be done. It has to be done. So we carried operations there. I was lucky that, or you can fortunate, you can say that my entire company we returned back also without suffering any fatal casualty from Sri Lanka, and that was a very major achievement that time. Seeing the uh, situation in Sri Lanka, and of course, after carrying out so many operations in the hinterland, and one thing is that I was fortunate also that I had troops from the northeast, so they're very good in jungle craft, jungle lore, uh, and hinterland of Sri Lanka is thick tropical jungle, very very thick tropical jungles. Like you cannot see the daylight. Also, you can see the sky once you are inside the jungle. It's, I mean, that thick canopy is there. But we had troops from that side, so they're very used to the jungles, living off the land, tracking looking out for the militant camps. So they, I mean, that we are quite fortunate to have these troops with us. Of course, one thing I want to share with you is like the IPKF had suffered a lot of casualties, fatal casualties. But unlike today, we had to leave our dead behind. Like we could not, they
Yes.
did not come home. They were cremated, buried. I mean, this still is now when I see the of course not a good thing that the body bags go home, but then a martyr is a martyr. So that time only a letter used to go to the next of kin. I mean that your so and so has was killed in action that side, and then it was cremated and or buried or whatever there only. Institute not brought back to the or not brought back to what to say of the home, not even to the home country. So this was one of the things. Of course, now things are much improved now, and when I see today, I mean, a lot of respect is given. In fact, even like see you, Ansuya, and Desh also reaching out to the martyrs, and I mean talking to their families, and so it's, I mean, feel very nice about it, and I mean, so it's very touched about it. This was one so point which I had, and of course the equipment also like, didn't have we didn't have maps, proper maps there. You must have read so much about it. like it is something like a blind person being kept in a dark room. So like that, without maps, you're going to a alien country to carry out operations there. And the weapons and all also were not the latest we had. But like you say, we do we do the job with whatever we have. That was, in fact, in Kargil also, this was one thing we will do with what we have. That was one of
Yes,
the, you must have read it so many times. So that way, that is good of the Indian Army. That given a task, they will do it.
absolutely, sir, absolutely. And sir, can you share? I mean, share about some of your what to say comrades who fell in the who got killed in the Operation Pavan.
Yes, well, there was some from my unit also. Like uh, when I was a youngster, there used to be one NCO, Ganesh Bahadur. So he also fell in the line of action. I mean, in one of the ambushes, he got martyred in one of the ambushes there in this thing. So when I joined the battalion as a second lieutenant, at that time he was a Nayak, and he used to brief me about how the normal routine is and how the you have to behave with the troops and what are the problems they face. And the like one system we had in our battalion, that the first 3 months we had to stay in the lines with the boys. So we basically knew the problems they face, like so few toilets, and so the long rush to go use them and then go for the PT, coming back, bath that time, and then long line for breakfast, and again have to be on time with a proper dress. So we have to go undergo what a Jawan goes through. We have to go there, and that stood me in a great stead subsequently in life. So I mean, one of the boys. That's why you mentioned one of the person who was sacrificed there was Ganesh father. I remember. Then I lost some of my course mates there. Uh, so of course, who had trained with me in IMA. So
Oh, is it,
that
sir? Please share their names, sir.
see, when I was from my company, Manoj Kumar was there from my company also, from the Madras regiment. So, and he was in fact killed there only in Sri Lanka. Was murdered in Sri Lanka. Was there, uh, of course,
And
and yeah, please.
yes, yes. And from there, sir, you were also a part of Operation Vijay, sir.
Yeah, that was
Sir, can you
much
hear?
later. Yeah. Just I want to just mention about one more
Yes,
issue about Sri Lanka. See, because recently, of course, of Chhattisgarh, we read about the unfortunate incident in Chhattisgarh.
yes, yes.
So, uh, I was when your call came yesterday, I was just going through. You know, I'm very fond of writing diaries, so I was going through one of my diaries which I'd written in Sri Lanka as a young major, just 30 years old in 1989. Yeah, Ajay, can you? Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
yes,
you
I
had
can hear.
you can. So I had written that time, and one thing I had written in bold there: avoid roads and tracks and crossing places of rivers like a
Ah,
plague. And don't be bunched up. This I had written in bold. That just uh, I had just was seeing my diary. In that I had mentioned that time. Because that time they used to use the IEDs, clearer mines also. So the casualties used to be much lesser if you're scattered. And then they can't put mines and they can't put ambushes all over the countryside. So if you move cross country, avoid roads and tracks. I mean, you may, like we had das at and it's something like a cookery. They call it da, right? It is something like a cookery. So we used to hack our way through the undergrowth, through the thick jungles, and just avoid tracks, roads. even the you can beaten paths also. We used to avoid them like a plague. Just a fresh path, because the adversary cannot lay mines or cannot ambush you just anywhere. So that was one of the things I've written in book. So yesterday, after your call came, so just glancing through the papers, I just came across it, so I thought I would just mention to you. Yeah. Now you
Yeah,
mentioned
that's
about
amazing. Like,
Operation Vijay. Uh, so this was my experience. I just wanted to relate to you. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And see, sir, these are some lessons means the should learn from their seniors,
Yeah.
because
Very
you
true.
all have actually learned through your experiences.
Very true. Very true. I mean, and many times what happens is the easiest way or the shortest way is not the best way. I mean, it is true in operations, it is true in life.
Yes.
Shortcut is doesn't pay, or it can get you into trouble. So this was one of the things I experienced there, and that also I, like a youngster in 30-year-old, I had experienced.
So, sir, after Operation Pavan, where you got posted, sir?
We were in Secunderabad for some time. In fact, Secunderabad is a twin city, Hyderabad, Secunderabad, and one of the members of the Brigadier Kushal Thakur, Grenadiers, 18 Grenadiers. So they
Yes,
were our
yes.
sister battalion, and at that time both of us were majors there in Secunderabad. I was
Oh,
fortunate to met him there. So our units were located part of the same formation there in Secunderabad. And then later, of course, I met him in the valley, and
yes.
that was after some years. Yeah. So that was in Secunderabad. We were there. Then went to Sikkim and Manipur. Manipur, of course, we were involved in the counterinsurgency operations in Manipur, and then later went to for a peace stint in Banbasa. There's a place near Nainital, and after that went to JNK. So we were in the valley initially, then before going for Opvijay.
So in Manipur and Sikkim also, so Sikkim were close to China border. So some of your
That,
experiences there, sir?
no, Sikkim was, see, that time the hostilities were not there with the Chinese as now. Of course, so basically it was just, you can say, being deployed there in high altitude. Mainly, that was the only experience we had there. And uh, Chinese were on their side, we were on our side. So nothing was, I mean, Galwan was a distant dream at that time. So it was normal, you can say, a high altitude posting. And then Manipur, of course, was the conventional counterinsurgency operations where they are against the militants there. So that time also we were deployed. And the beauty of organization is that though we had in my unit troops from both Nagaland, Manipur, we had Nagas, we had Kugis, everything. But discipline was paramount. We didn't have a single case of anybody running away to join the militants or fratricide or anything. We didn't have anything like that. Not a single casualty we suffered in Manipur when we were deployed there. But though it is a very tough thing, now when you have got troops hailing from that area and you are deployed in operations in the same
Yes,
operations in the same. So that was the beauty of our organization.
absolutely. And sir, you had always you were means throughout you were writing diary, na sir?
No, off and on, off and on. Yes, that time, yes, Sri Lanka I was riding with, and then in of course during before Opvijay, when we were in the valley, that time of course I was that time writing my experiences that time, because otherwise the routine of the unit didn't allow us for anything, because in morning to evening you're busy one thing or the other. Diary is the
Yes,
last
yes.
thing you want to write.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that those diaries are now treasures, sir.
Uh, thank you, thank you.
So, sir, when you were in Kargil war, sir, please share your experience of meeting Major Rajesh Adhikari, sir.
Okay, yeah, you have touched on a raw nerve. Yeah, what happened was before, like Colonel Kushal Thakur have also shared, before uh, the Kargil war, like 18 grenadiers and us, we were in the valley. We deployed in the valley for counter-insurgency operations. It deployed there. So one day I was sitting. I was there actually as the OC of the advanced party of my unit there. So one day I was just sitting in my tent. So all of a sudden, I saw a familiar face, and that happened to be Rajesh Adhikari, and he was putting on the grenadiers epaulets. So I was quite surprised. I said, "Yeah, you are," because I had known him earlier. So he was my junior in his school, and then earlier also I used to meet him whenever I was on leave in Nainital in my hometown. So I used to meet him there. So I said, "Yeah, how come?" So he said, "No, I'm on cross attachment." He was commissioned into mechanized infantry. So I said, "Yeah, how come you're in 18 Grenadiers?" Because 18 Grenadiers, I knew them very well because we were together in Hyderabad. Colonel
Yes.
Vishal Thakur and others, I knew them that time. So I said, and in fact, them, Venki, all these people we knew very well. So I asked them, he said, "No, I'm on cross attachment." So, and then he had carried out an operation there. And that time, there was a Sikh boy, or a Sikh officer along with him, of Grenadiers, HP Singh, HP Singh. So he was also, they were also like, you could see the fire in their eyes, like, I mean, when they're talking about the operations they were carrying out, things. And unfortunately, uh, after a few days, we lost HP. He was that time martyred. HP was martyred after a few days. And I met, then in one of the operations, I met Colonel Thakur, that time Colonel Thakur, of Vishal Thakur, and Rajesh, I met in one of the operations that time. And then Rajesh mentioned to me, okay, sir, if you're, I was just to go for a week's leave. Or you're not getting more leave than that, just 5 to 6 days to my hometown. He says, okay, sir. Yes, I bought a gift or a Kashmir shawl for my wife. So it's our first anniversary. I think June, their first anniversary was there. So can you get it? I said, yeah, sure, yeah. What's there in taking it? So, but after that, what happened was we could not meet because you couldn't just move from one place to another. There's
Yes.
like
Yes.
there's ROPs are there, road clearance is there, so many things are there. So I was unable to get it the shawl there. Then I just go on. This was I'm talking about 1999, second week of May. The Kargil war had just, in fact, Nagas had just moved in, and that war was, I mean, it was not a war at that time. Like the operations had not started per se. But when I came back, that time things had started. The Rajesh Adhikari's unit, then they had moved up. They had moved to Dras after that time. Yeah. So when I went home, so we didn't have mobiles that time. So landline, I called up his in-laws' place to speak to his wife. So she had gone out somewhere. So I cannot speak to her. And later I came back. And then in Srinagar, I once had gone for some work to the Corps headquarters. Then I came to know about Rajesh, that he had been martyred. Because the 18 graders had moved up to the sector, to Tolonin, and Rajesh had been this thing, martyred there. And about Rajesh, though I think I'd shared in Desh also, it was a very poignant moment for me. Because once somebody you've seen as a small boy growing up and then seen him as a lieutenant, and then after losing him, so I had written a poem, one of my first poems, Shahid-e-Watan. I'd shared in, I think, with you in
So
Desh.
do you have the poem and just now with you, sir?
Yeah, actually, it is in this. Well, I'll just get it. Yeah, I've got the. I just can get it for some time.
I
Yeah.
mean, we wanted to hear few lines from you from the poem from you, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Just, can you excuse me for a second? You get
Ah,
it
of
or
course.
don't? Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yes, yes. Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Seema? Yeah, sorry, Drisha. Yeah,
No, no, absolutely.
okay. See, this poem was Shaheed-e-Watan. सो रहा है अब जो बेखबर, तिरंगा बना है जिसका कफन, वह अपना ही एक साथी है जो हो गया शहीद-ए-वतन। बस कल ही संग अपने खुशी से लगा था चहक, यारों के साथ जाम टकरा कर मस्ती में रहा था वह बहक। आज हमें वो छोड़ चला है, हो गया है बेगाना, चला गया अब बहुत दूर, वतन का अजब दीवाना। जब बरस रहे थे अंगारे, चारों तरफ था हाहाकार, फट रहे थे बम के गोले, घायलों का था चित्कार। तब भी मुड़कर ना देखा, ना सोचा एक भी पल, घर पर छोड़ आया जिन्हें, क्या होगा उनका कल। बस आगे ही बढ़ता गया, मुसीबतों से बंद अनजान, दुश्मनों से जूझते जूझते हो गया वह कुर्बान। भूल सकेगा ना वक्त जिसको, सदा चमकेगा जिसका माथा, मरकर भी जो अमर रहेगा, उस शहीदे वतन की यह गाथा। So, this
Beautiful,
was
sir.
the
Beautiful. Especially after knowing the background of the poem that you have written when the war was going on and after losing someone so close to you. I mean, really very emotional poem, sir.
very true. Yes, it was very poignant. Yeah.
Sir, this comment has been posted by Brigadier Umesh Bawa, sir. So
Okay.
he was the commanding officer of 17 Jat in during the Kargil war. So he is
Yes,
actually
yes.
listening. He is listening to
Oh,
this Vartalap session. So he has written this. Jai Hind,
oh,
sir.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind, sir. In fact, I'm honored to have met you so many times in Lucknow also, and subsequently, I mean, you are an icon. You are an icon for us, sir.
Yes, sir. So, few, sir, will you please share few more of your memories from the Kargil war, sir?
See, in Kargil, we are actually not deployed in Dras or Kargil or that side. We
Yes,
were
yes.
deployed in the Gurez sector. So we are actually more of a reserve for any operations building that side. Of course, we are deployed there. The fighting across the line of control was going on there, and everything such things were there. But of course, unlike the other units, so we are not physically deployed in the actual operations in the Kargil or Dras or Mashko that side, unlike the other units. So ours was, you can say, more of a supporting role that side, and we are more on the reserve side.
Yes. And sir, after the war was over, then where were you posted, sir? There only?
Yeah, after the war was over, then I was posted initially to Lake, to the to Tangse, Pangongso area, which is now in the
All
news.
high altitude areas, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. And then, of course, I went to Siachen base camp. I took my unit to Siachen base camp and carried out their induction into the glacier. So, of course, by the time they were inducting, the first round was inducted, that time I got my posting to the regimental center in Shillong. So I moved out from there in January 2000. Then I was sent to the regimental center from there because the
Sir,
also was taking over.
please share with
Yeah.
us the training regimen of the Siachen base camp.
See, base camp, of course, the uh, Sachin Battle School was there. So they used to, I mean, conduct the pre-induction training, the uh, ice craft, snowcraft, uh, all this and quite a tough this thing. Training was there, getting them acclimatized for their stint into the
Exactly. Yes, sir.
glacier. Yeah. Because it used to be a 3 months stint in the glacier. So the training used to be, I mean, quite tough training we had, and of course, you can say, I mean, because I don't want to get into the technical terms
Yeah.
as such, banners and using uh, launching of the ladders, and so uh, for the to be prepared for the crossing the crevasses, and then the combating the various cold injuries that people face. I mean, Sachin, more it is more of a fight against the terrain and climate as it is against the enemy. I mean, both is there in the altitude, especially in Sachin.
And sir, please tell us about the life up there in Siachen Glacier. Like 3 months without taking bath and all, the life is very difficult there, sir. It's totally cut off from the civil life.
Uh, yeah, that's true. I mean, it is. You can say just uh, go into a sadhana for 3 months, like because you're totally cut off
Absolutely,
from
absolutely.
civilization. I mean, it is a sadhana, you can say, for that. Yeah, so no bath, and even I mean, like you lose your appetite totally. I mean, people say a lot of goodies are given to them, but what do you
Mhm.
do with the goodies? You can't eat them. I mean, you just
Oh,
lose your appetite there.
is it, sir? And then, sir, how means how you keep yourself motivated there? Because like nothing is there, just snow, snow, and snow. No, other than the faces you are seeing daily, like no other human interactions.
Yeah. See, that way, yes, there your inner strength comes in, because what you say is right. I mean, uh, see, you can't write also. You can't. I mean, reading also. You're not in the mood to read. Can't write. And
Yes.
once you get the satellite phone, once in a blue moon, sometimes if you're lucky, you were able to speak to your loved ones. But yes, you counted days. I mean, but the routines builds up. Like the daily getting your stores, getting the foodstuffs, patrolling, moving around, link patrol. So, I mean, it's there's never a dull moment as such. So that, but of course, yes, I mean, no human interaction, nobody except for those few odd people who are posted with you. Less you don't meet anybody there.
I just wanted to share some of your. So this was sir during his young age. Sir, this was sir when you newly joined, sir.
This was an IMA. I was a first timer in the academy, Indian Military Academy, as a trainee cadet, gentleman cadet.
Okay. And sir, this was when, sir.
Yeah, this is just after I got my commission. That time we used to wear these cross belts. I mean, like now I think you only see the police people wearing it, but in army also we had the cross. Uh, so this was just after my commission when I'd gone home. So there's only one pip on my shoulder. So my father
Ah,
was quite enamored by the uniform. So just outside in my veranda in Nainital, my father had
oh,
clicked this photograph. This
amazing,
was
sir. Very
uh,
nostalgic.
very nostalgic. Yeah. This is Pangongso Lake. Uh,
This
this
means
is the
this was
Pangong.
just after Kargil.
Yes, this after Kargil, just after Kargil, it was there. Yeah,
This is also Leh,
this
sir.
was yeah, this is Leh. This is somewhere near Leh. This is Tangse near Leh. There's also high altitude area.
Yes, yes, yes. And sir, Siachen?
This is Siachen. This is Siachen.
Oh,
So you can
amazing.
see the crevices in the background. Yeah, just small
Yes.
people.
And
Yes,
like
sir.
sir, in Siachen, you just don't, means not don't, you can't take bath actually, na sir? Like 3 months at a
Yeah, yeah,
stretch.
naturally. Yes, yes, yes. Because it's, I mean, the temperatures are so the same. Or even the uh, metal parts of the weapons, they also, I mean, you can't touch them also with the bare hands. Is the temperature also minus 30, minus 40 degrees?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, sir, after that, and so people say that in that 3 months tenure, you also your memory also gets affected because of the low oxygen level there.
Oh, yeah, that's they say that way. Yes, they say. I mean, it's one of the effects of that. So generally now, of course, people uh, do the yoga, do I mean pranayam, so many things they do. But yes, in the chances are there because the oxygen supply to the brain. I mean, that gets reduced obviously that altitude. Is it? So we have some certain cases of dementia. We do have.
So this comment has been made by Raj Mohan Bhatnagar, sir. So I think he
Okay.
knows you. And
Very close to me. Uh, I mean, just a personal point now. Rajmohan Bhatnagar and self, we are in KG, you can say kindergarten together. From
oh,
there, we are in school, school together, college together. I mean, didn't share a photograph because since I put only the 4G photographs, I didn't share a photograph of us trekking during our college days. I would have wanted to put up that also if I thought Raj would be coming here. So, and Raj and self, we appeared for the Combined Defense Services exam together. From Lucknow was a center. That was the first time Lucknow was a center of the UPSC. Written exam we gave together. Of course, our SSB mine was Bhopal and his was Allahabad. So we got selected. Then we joined IMA together, same course. And
amazing.
luck would have it, we were assigned the same company, single company in IMA, which is, I mean, like it's a draw of lots in IMA. No Chacha Tao is there. So we got this thing, and both of us assigned in single company. So we trained together 1.5 years, and then operated for a variety of infantry regiments. And both of us got commissioned into the Assam Regiment. That was even
Oh,
more.
ye
So,
dosti.
uh, yeah, those say I do, and how come I don't know? और ना जैक लगा के ना कुछ and after that I mean like 1963 and till the date till we retired from service, so we're together same regiment, I mean same school, same college, same company, same course, same regiment. I mean quite a thing.
Very rare, sir. This type of
Very rare,
friendship.
very rare, very rare. Yes, sir.
This is what he has written. Ye dosti is set in paradise, Nainital. And
True. In fact, we generally time our leaves also together. I mean, like, of course, now every day is a leave after retirement, but our vacations to Nainital, we plan together. So we go for our evening walks and morning walks together only. In
yes, and sir, I remember that you were in SSB also, Bangalore, sir, SSB South.
yeah, yes, I was there. In fact, I had 2 tenures there, but I was not a assessor. I was not posted there as an assessor. I was there in the administration. I was the Adam officer in SSB Bangalore, Selection Center South Bangalore. That was first tenure was 2003 to 2006, and then later in my re-employment after retirement, I retired in 2013. Then had a stint in Chennai. Then after that, 15 to 17, I was again there, but I was looking after the non-technical aspects, mainly the administrative aspects, right from the reception till the medical of whatever candidate undergoes. So I was basically involved with that.
And sir, I just today while writing about you, I just found out that you appeared for 33 SSB and your year of service is 33 years.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yes. And sir, I mean, this session of yours is incomplete if we don't actually discuss or remember the family support you had always with you, because sir, you all get training for all the things you do, for all the hardships you have to face, but the family has to face the hardship without any training. So they are
Mm,
the real army behind the army. And when you got posted to so many different places, you had two daughters also with you.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you have touched on a very important point, and especially like now the connectivity is so good, like people are chatting, and mobile is there in every hand. But it was not so. Like when we went to Sri Lanka, that time that time there's only Doordarshan also. There's not the news channel also, and that was and wife used to keep on waiting for the new and never good news used to be hardly there. There has to be so many killed, so many wounded. So they were just and every time the doorbell rang or the postman turned up. So that time, I mean, they used to literally, I mean, keep their fingers crossed. I mean, just be praying silently. It was more because we were in the thick of operations, so we didn't know actually because we were like robots. I mean, uh, just moving whatever orders are given, executing that. But the family was there uh, at back home, like the parents, the children, and even as late as Kargil. Kargil also that time also the connectivity was not that good. Only yes, we had a few satellite phones were there, but that also far very far. So and in during Kargil time, the media had expanded quite a bit. So
Yes,
every channel was beaming out so many people, Maria, so many girls, so many this happened, that happened, and all that. And I mean, it was very tough. That I learned from my wife later. Very tough on them. Uh,
absolutely.
that certain things happen. I mean, so the family support is yes, it's a major point. It was and it was tough on them. And then my daughters are also very small, so for them also it's a tough one. Like school also, they used to
Yes,
they were, I think elder one was in class 7, younger was in class 2. So for them also quite tough. Like when they're going to school, children were talking about अच्छा ये news में ये सुना वो सुना and all आपके पापा कहाँ हैं. So many things are there. So it was I mean tough for the children also at that time.
very,
For
very
the
tough.
wife, of course, yeah. But the only thing is they didn't break down. I mean, in the letters, they did not write anything as such. Otherwise, your morale would have just gone not only to your boots, but
Yes,
below the boots also. Uh,
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, sir, we are almost at the end of our session. So, if I had missed anything, sir, do you want to share some of your memories, like that is very close to
uh,
your heart during the service time?
yes, I mean, of course, I mean, I'm thankful that you interviewed one of my youngsters, Sonam Wangchuk, in Desh, यानी कि
Thanks to
yeah.
you, sir. It wouldn't
So,
have been possible without you, sir.
I mean, Sonam was very, very, very close to me, and uh, in fact, it was good that you had interviewed him. And he was, in fact, one of the pillars during the Kargil operations, you can say, and one of the turning points. Like Tolang, my course mate
Yes.
also you mentioned just day before, Ravi, you had mentioned, no? Is my course mate, Ravindrath, Colonel
Yes,
Ravindrath,
yes.
you had mentioned about
Oh, you
him.
were course
Yeah,
mates, sir. Okay.
we are course mates. Yeah, we are course mates. And in fact, he was in Bangalore. We used to meet quite often in Bangalore also. So that way we are there. Yeah. So it's in fact wonderful talking, and so I didn't know how this time passed. I was just keeping my
Yes, sir.
fingers crossed. So I bored the people for an hour, but I think it's just fast. Yeah.
No, sir. Thank you so much
So,
for coming today and sharing your rich experiences with all of us. We really loved listening to you, sir. So many things we
Uh,
learned, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And take care, Jai Hind, and God bless.
Jai, Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.